Can Houston just have one sad sports day? On Sunday my Houston Texans lost, and then all this Astro stuff on Monday and on Tuesday.
It was a bad Sunday and it was a bad Monday, and I feel like it's just a bad week all around the MLB.
MLB. So, like I said, guys, I will be talking about the Astros and Rockets, but I didn't expect it to be so soon. Cue the intro.
The city of the dream team, Hakeem, Turing, Beyonce, yeah, me. And I remember hot summer, hot winter. I couldn't fight, so the block made a hot spin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. 713 Houston Sportcast. I'm your host, Ruben Calvillo, and I am here with one of the guys who knows baseball a lot. He could talk it. He could just speak it any day of the week. I'm here with Mr. Ray Calvillo. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
How you doing? Great. So,
Let's get to it.
let's get to it. On Monday, we see that the MLB bans Jeff Luhnow and manager AJ Hinch for 1 year. What was your initial thoughts on that?
I was like, man, oh man, I cannot believe this man just fired the head coach and the general manager. Maybe the head coach, okay, but the general manager, the architect of our team, Astros, the golden era, in the middle of the golden era, was tough to swallow.
It is very tough because, like I said, Jim Crane, he started this with those two, right? He brings in AJ Hinch and then he brings in Jeff Luhnow, and they brought you one World Series and they were 8 outs away from another one.
And actually, they were actually in it to go to the championship in the American League when they lost by a couple runs in Game 5 of the Royals. They were that good at a young age, a young sounding baseball team. The Astros were a pitcher away from going to the championship of the American League. But just to show the talent that this team has had since 2015 is amazing.
It's really amazing. I think a lot of people are overreacting, right? I see a bunch of people on Twitter, I see people on the MLB network saying, man, the Astros are going to be done. But no, we still have Carlos Correa. When he's healthy, he's one of the best shortstops in the league. Alex Bregman, maybe the best third baseman in the league. Oh, we have Altuve, we have George Springer, we have Justin Verlander, Zach Greinke, and we have some guy who's going to be the MVP maybe this year or next year. I think Yordan Alvarez is going to be the MVP. We still have core pieces on this team, as well as Lance McCullers coming back from injury.
Yes, so let's talk about the emotions that we've been feeling since Monday. It is acceptable. It is okay to be upset. It's okay to feel betrayed. It's okay to feel like what is going on, like a whirlwind. This is our normal reaction. Emotions are right. There's two sides of the story. I like to say that everyone is right within their means. They how they're feeling, how they're expressing themselves on Twitter, on IG, on Facebook. It's all normal. I mean, it is upsetting, but I like to say this. The Astros are not the only team that has been doing this. So I like to say that if you're going to punish one team, one organization, it needs to be across the board. So across the board, there's no resentment. There's no, I feel like they're picking on a certain organization. I think it needs to be across the board. If they really are serious about cracking down on illegal stealing signs through video or other X factors, that's fine. But it needs to be across the board. And I think that's the upsetting part of the Houston Astros. I feel for the Dodgers. I feel for the Astros. I feel for the Red Sox and the Yankees. All these teams have been collaborating and have been mentioned in this stealing, but they're not being mentioned. They're only being slapped with a small fine. So I feel that it should be across the board. If it's a zero tolerance, let it be a zero tolerance, but it'll be across the board. Now, the suspension for 1 year for AJ Hinch, I feel like it was okay. It was acceptable. And also the 1 year suspension for the general manager, Jeff Luhnow, was also acceptable. But Crane, being a businessman, knowing that he had to clean the slate, even though it hurt him, as you can tell through that interview that he was doing there, he was practically crying because this was never ever had crossed his mind that his people, his organization, his general manager, his on the field coach and bench coach and other players had been involved in this dilemma. And the only thing this man could do was clean the slate. Yes, it hurt, but he had to do the right thing for the organization. As a businessman, as a successful businessman, he did the right thing. Now, I think he went a little bit extreme, expelling the general manager. I could have accepted him getting rid of the coach on the field. But the general manager, I think that's the stinger. I think that's where it's going to really hurt, because he was the architect that took us out of the slums, out of the bottom, out of the laughing stock. And I remember he used to call them the Astros, because that's how horrible they were.
We were made fun of for like wearing Astros gear.
When I used to wear, I'm talking about 2012, 2013, people, young men and young kids would laugh at me out wearing the Astros. I say, hey, young man, I love my team, regardless if they win or lose. And of course, this is not the way you want to portray the Houston Astros as cheaters. So saying all that, it's a new season, but I think these players are going to have a chip on their shoulders. And this chip on their shoulders is going to be through the whole season. And don't be surprised if the Houston Astros become world champions again, because they have the players, like you mentioned. They have Correa, they have Bregman, they have Verlander, Greinke, they have Springer, they have Forrest coming up. They have a good core team. So don't be surprised, MLB, that if the Astros win the World Series, all those excuses that people want to use, oh, they cheated or they misused the video, okay, that's fine. Get past that. This is 2020. It's a new beginning for the Houston Astros. Go Astros.
Who do you see managing this team on?
Now, back to that. You need to find somebody that has credibility, that has history with the Houston Astros, that is a legend within the Houston Astros. And I think it's time to step up, Greg Biggio. Biggio, you are an icon in the Houston Astros. Bagwell, it's time for you to step up. It's time for you to be the batting coach. It's time for you to stand up and take what we have given you. We're giving you the city. We have given you our hearts. We have paid you well. And it's time for you to pay back and help us get out of this situation. And I believe those two icons can really help out the Houston Astros moving forward for 2020.
You know, say what you want about the Texans, say what you want about the Rockets. The Astros are really the heart of Houston, because everybody, believe it or not, everybody loves baseball. When Hurricane Harvey hit, that was a Houston Astros historic World Series run, and that was people's only hope. Exactly. And to see these allegations, well, not pretty much allegations anymore, to see that we were cheating, it does hurt us, but it's not the end for these Houston Astros. And you have to give credit to Jim Crane, to AJ Hinch, for Jeff Luhnow, for something that they built, and we're gonna be good for the next 3 and 5 years.
Like I said, it's very controversial, and everybody has the rights to give their opinion. But if you're a Houstonian, born, raised, play baseball, I think the Houston Astros are still your team.
Oh, yeah.
And it really don't matter what the other teams think of you, and I'm talking about the Houston Astros. You're going to have to bond as a family. As brothers, you have to go get it again. Finish it off. And I believe if you win the World Series, they're going to forget about that, because they're going to realize this team is really good.
If Astros win this World Series, this will be the most historic World Series win, I think, throughout baseball. Because you go from a team that fired their manager, the World Series winning manager, the World Series winning general manager, and they have to start it in, because the baseball season is coming up. That's the beauty about baseball. It happens so quick.
It's time to turn the page.
Time to turn the page.
When those pitchers, those catchers show up in spring training, we turn the page. It's about a month away, and this is going to linger. But once pitchers and catchers show up, you turn the page. And that's what you got to motivate the players, let them know it's a new year.
It's a new year. Well, as always, guys, this was our first baseball video. Keep on looking forward for this. I didn't expect it to go this well. This man brought it like he always does. As always, guys, go Texans, go Astros. You guys have a blessed day.